Sometimes, the biggest problems in life don't come from our challenges, but from the desperate decisions we make. Trying to escape them, we get so focused on a quick fix that we forget to think about the consequences. And that's when a small problem can turn into a disaster. This story is a powerful reminder of why patience, clear thinking, and wise choices are our greatest allies. Once, beside a clear, sparkling river, a pair of cranes lived high up in a tall tree. They'd built a cozy nest, a place they believed was the safest spot to start their family. One day, the female crane laid 3 beautiful eggs for the very first time. The couple was filled with so much joy, dreaming of the day their little chicks would hatch. They took turns guarding the eggs, their hearts full of hope for the future. But they had no idea that these very eggs would lead them down a path of heartbreaking loss. One sunny morning, the cranes flew to a nearby part of the river to find some food. The river was teeming with fish, so they quickly ate their fill and rushed back, excited to return to their precious eggs. But when they arrived, they froze in horror. The nest was empty. The eggs were gone. Their hearts sank. They searched every single branch, every shadow, every corner of the tree. But there was no sign of their eggs, or what had taken them. With heavy hearts, they had to accept that their dream was shattered. Determined to avoid another tragedy, the cranes found a new spot and built a stronger nest. Time passed, and soon the female laid another set of eggs. This time, they were more careful. The male crane would go out for food while the female stayed behind, fiercely guarding their future family. But one morning, the male returned to a devastating sight. His mate was crying uncontrollably. The eggs were gone again. This time, the female had seen the thief, a large, cruel snake. She had fought bravely to protect the eggs, but the snake was too powerful. It cornered her, and she had to watch, helpless, as it swallowed her eggs one by one. Overwhelmed by anger and despair, the male crane flew to his wise friend, the crab, and poured out his painful story. "I don't know what to do," he said, his voice trembling. "That snake has taken everything from us." Again, the crab listened patiently, his mind working. "Don't give up, my friend," the crab replied calmly. "There is always a way. We just have to be smart about it." After a few moments of deep thought, the crab leaned in and whispered a plan into the crane's ear. A spark of hope returned to the crane's eyes. He thanked his friend and rushed back to his mates to explain the daring idea. "Are you sure this will work?" she asked, her voice full of doubt and fear. "It's our only chance," he replied with newfound determination. "We have to try." When the female laid her eggs for the 3rd time, they put the crab's plan into action. The next morning, the male crane flew down to the riverbank and caught several small fish. He then carefully placed them in a line, creating a trail that led from a mongoose's burrow all the way to their tree. The plan was simple, but clever. Lure the mongoose to their tree and let it deal with the snake. To make sure the snake would appear, the crane flew near its den and called out loudly, announcing that they had fresh eggs once again. He was terrified, but he knew that doing nothing was the worst choice of all. Soon, the scent of fresh fish reached the mongoose. It followed the trail, its nose twitching, until it arrived at the base of the crane's tree. Just as it started to climb, it saw the snake slithering up the trunk, heading for the nest. Believing the snake was a threat to its newfound food source, the mongoose didn't hesitate. It lunged. A fierce battle erupted in the branches. It was a blur of teeth against fangs, incredible speed against deadly venom. The cranes watched from their nest, their hearts pounding. After a long, brutal struggle, the mongoose finally overpowered the snake, ending its reign of terror. The cranes breathed a sigh of immense relief. Their enemy was gone. Their eggs were finally safe. But that feeling of relief didn't last. The very next day, the cranes returned from fishing to an all-too-familiar sight of horror. The mongoose was climbing down from their tree, its mouth stained. They rushed to their nest, their worst fears confirmed. It was empty. The mongoose, their supposed savior, had eaten their eggs. They had traded one predator for another, and this new one was even more efficient. Friends, the story of these cranes mirrors the challenges we all face. When we're scared, frustrated, or impatient, we often grasp at the easiest solution without thinking it through. And just like the cranes, a quick fix can lead to an even bigger problem. So many people try to solve their problems with shortcut staking on risky debt, making impulsive, career moves, or ending relationships without communication only to find themselves in a deeper hole than before. So, when you're facing a tough time, remember the cranes. Be careful with solutions that seem too easy. Take a deep breath, stay calm, and think about the long-term consequences of your actions. A moment of clear thinking can save you from a lifetime of regret. Wise choices, not rushed ones, are what truly lead us to safety and peace. If this story resonated with you, please show your support by leaving a like and a comment below.